So there was a minor patch that came out today, not the 13-page patch notes that we thought were coming out, but we have some bug fixes, gameplay fixes, UI changes, local co-op fixes, and more UI changes. So let's start with the gameplay adjustments. So there's more experience for completed nightmare dungeons, killing monster nightmare dungeons, hell-tight chests now provide more bonus experience, and fixed an issue where there's no experience graded for a holdout side event that can occur after finishing dungeon objectives. But in general, the Helltide roaming bosses now more consecutively drop higher quality loot. Players can now teleport to their nightmare dungeons through the map, and weekly bonus catches from world boss no longer have a level requirement for opening. The developers notes, we are currently working on increasing the monster and elite density of in-game content and plan to introduce this change early in Season 1. So, balance changes. We are continuing our efforts to make all class builds feel fun and powerful with another round of balance updates. And particularly, we've seen a lot of community feedback that basic skills aren't impactful enough. So, in the below, it includes changes to flat damage, legendary aspects. If, for example, you go into item power 820, then those stats will significantly change. And we'll start with the Barbarian. Barbarian skills, lunging strike, base damage increased from 30 to 33%. Fury generated increased from 9 to 10. Bash, fury generated increased from 10 to 11. Enhanced bash, fortify increased from 10% to 20%. Frenzy, base damage increased from 20 to 22%. Flay, bleeding base damage increased from 36 to 40. Fury generated increased from 9 to 10. Enhanced Flay's vulnerable chance increased from 10 to 15%. Double swing, base damage increased from 36 to 40%. Kick, cooldown reduction from 17 to 13 seconds. Base damage dealt to enemies knocked back into terrain increased from 54% to 70%. Charge, increased charge base time dealt to enemies knocked back to certain criteria increased to 15 to 30%. Leap, mighty leap slow increased from 50 to 70%. Iron skin, enhanced barrier increased from 10 to 20% maximum life. Call of the Ancients, prime call of Ancients bonus attack speed increased from 10% to 20%. Iron Maelstrom, cooldown reduction from 60 to 45 seconds. Prime Iron Maelstrom bonuses critical strike chance increased from 10% to 30%. Prime Iron Maelstrom bonuses critical strike damage increased from 20 to 40%. Bounding Slam base damage increased from 75 to 112%. Now, I'm not going to go over and read over every little tweak here for the items or what these are, the abilities. There's some minor flatline adjustments to there, right? So, the items, Overkill, damage increased from 16% to 30% to 24 to 38%. Hailhammer, flat damage increased from 3 to 5, 0.3 to 0.5, 2.6 to 0.8. Now, for the Druid, Earth Spike, base damage increased by 1%, Spirit generated by 1, Fierce Spike, Fortify increased by 4%, Wind Shear, base damage increased by 1%, Spirit generated increased by 1, Claw, base damage increased by 2%, Spirit generated increased to 1, Double Claw attack increased by 5%, Fierce Claw, base damage increased by 5%, Maul, base damage increased by 2%, Spirit generated increased by 1, Enhanced Maul, Fortify increased by 1%. Lightning Storm duration increased from 4 to 2 seconds. Primal Lightning Storm increased chance mobilized by 4%. Shred third attack base damage increased by 10%. Enhanced Shred healing increased from 1 to 2 maximum life, so 1%. Raging Shred base damage increased from 51% to 70%. Primal Shred bonus critical strike damage increased by 10%. Wolves cooldowns reduced by 3 seconds. Ferocious Wolfpack Licky hit chance increased by 30%. Hurricane base damage increased from 95.5% to 134%. Rabies base poison damage increased by 23%. Cataclysm base damage increased from 52% to 64%. Now, Lacerate base damage increased by 60%. Petrify critical strike damage bonus increased by 5%. Pommel base damage increased from 140% to 180%. Passives, Bestial Rampage attack speed bonus increased by 5%. Bonus damage increased by 10%. Nature's Fury, chance to cast a free spell increased by 10%. Alright, now the Lupine Furiosity damage bonus increased by 10%. Legendary aspects, Rune Colt Walker, flat damage increase by 0.4%. Mangled Chance increase by 10% on both sides on the upscale and downscale of it. Now the Seismic Shift cooldown decreased from 2.5 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds 1 second. Bird Beast damage increased 60 to 90, 70 to 100%, right? So those are the highs and lows of those percentiles. Now we're going to be blasting into the Necromancer for its buffs and nerfs. So Necromancer, base damage increase of Reap by 1%. Alkaloid's Reap cooldown between corpses reduced by 1 second. Decompose, base damage increased by 3%. Base essence generated and increased by 1. Corpse formed frequency increased from 2.5 to 2 seconds. Hemorrhage, base damage increased by 2%. Essence generated up to 1. Bone splinters, base damage increased by 1%. Essence generated up by 1. Sever, base damage increased by 3%. Enhance, servers return, base damage increased from 25% to 40%. Blood Lance, Supernatural Blood Lance, overpower requirement reduced from 8 to 6 casts. Bone Prison cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. Dreadful Bone Prison Fortify increased by 3%. Iron Maiden base damage increased by 10%. Horrid Iron Maiden bonus damage increased by 5%. Corpse Tendrils, Blight Corpse Tendrils cause a spawn of Blood Orb increased by 5%. Now we're going to get into the Bone Spikes. Base damage increased from 80% to 120%. Raised Skeleton and Golem minions will now always engage targets with Cast Cure. Passives, Kalan's Edict, damage taken during requirement reduced from 3 to 2 seconds. Rathma's Vigor, healthy duration requirement reduced from 15 to 12 seconds. Spiked Armor, Thorns increased from 0.8, 0.16, 0.24 to 1, 0.2, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Now, legendary aspects, bursting bone, flat damage increase from some certain percentiles. Flesh rendering essence gained by 10 on both sides. Fast blood, ultimate cooldown reduction increase from 0.5 to 1, from 1 to 1.5 seconds. Now for the rogue, ladies and gentlemen, they have the least amount, with the rogue and the sorcerer having the least amount of changes. Skills for the rogue, invigorating strike, base damage increased by 2%. Blade shift damage increased by 1%. Heart seeker base damage increased by 2%. Primary heart seeker damage increased from 30% to 75%. Forceful arrow base damage increased by 2%, and barrage base damage increased by 2%. Claptraps increased, methodical claptraps chill increased by 5%. Smoke grenade cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. Rain of arrows cooldown reduced by 5 seconds. Prime rain of arrows imbued potency increased by 10%. Volley base damage increased from 70% to 105%. Passives close quarters combat damage increased by 10%. Legendary aspects, escape artist cooldown decreased from 100 to 45 seconds. Umberos, lucky hit chance, gain a dark shroud increased from 30 to 50% to 46%. Items, eyes in the dark increased, death trap cooldown reduced from 30 to 15% to 20 to 15%. Now we're going to get into the sorcerer. The sorcerer, again, like the rogue, didn't have many changes, but let's get into it. Skills, spark base damage increased by 2%. Enhanced spark damage increased from 5.6 to 7%. Flickering spark chance increased from 3 to 4%. Frostbolt base damage increased by 3%. Firebolt burning damage increased by 4%. Charge bolt base damage increased by 2%. Incinerate base damage increased from 49% to 54%. Enhanced incinerate damage increased by 10%. Greater incinerate immobilize requirement reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. Fireball mana cost decreased from 40 to 35. Frozen orb initial base damage increased by 4%. Explosion base damage increased from 29% to 34%. Greater frozen orb chance to apply vulnerable increased by 5%. Blizzard's base damage increased by 10%. Ice Blaze chance to apply vulnerable increased by 10%. Lightning Spear, summoning lightning spears, maximum damage bonus increased by 60%. Crackling energy base damage increased by 5%. Freezing Wake's base damage increased from 60% to 110%. The legendary aspects, abundant energy, chance to chain an additional enemy, increase from 20 to 30% to 30 to 40%. Singed extremities, slow amount increased from the 25-35% to 40 to 60%. Incendiary, chance to restore mana, increased from 5 to 10% to 12 to 17%. Snow Guard's damage reduction increased from 10 to 15% to 20 to 25%. Consecration mana regeneration increased from 10 to 20% to 20 to 30%. The items, the Flame Scar flat damage increase from 0.1, 0.2 to 2 to 0.2 to 0.3, and Staff of Lam Neeson or Staff of Lam Eason damage reduction reduced from 40 to 30% to 35 to 25%. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I have read through the patch notes. I have teleported to Nightmare Dungeons. I am currently in a Nightmare Dungeon during the course of this video. The experience gains from the Nightmare Dungeons are better. The enemies do hit a bit harder. You will see that if your build isn't good, you're going to be doing some tweaking before you get back in there and try to massacre some of these Nightmare Dungeon enemies. I hope you guys did enjoy the reading of the patch notes, which reading patch notes is always a good time. And go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, and I would like to see you in the next one.